Good YouTube family, it's your girl Salena and I'm back with another video. Today you guys, we are doing another car chat. As you guys can see, we is in the car. I'm gonna do another story time. I'm gonna pick up where I left off last time. The last video I talked about was the time I moved in with the Christians and I was staying in a disciple house basically. And now today we're gonna be talking about what happened, like what made me like go back to my addiction or whatever, and how I ended up back in that situation. So we're gonna pick up where we left off, you guys. So before we get into the video, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to this channel, you guys. I am on my way to my first 1,000 subscribers, but I need your help, okay? I need your help. I need you to subscribe, okay? And I also need you to turn on those notifications so you can get notified the next time I post another video. And I also need you to do me a favor and engage with the video, you guys. Make sure you guys like this video and leave a comment down below, you guys. That way YouTube sees that people are actually engaging with my videos, which means they'll put me in the algorithm for other people to see my videos, which means I have a more of a chance of me getting monetized, you guys. So make sure you guys, thank you guys for your help. I appreciate it in advance. And then we're gonna get into the video. So what I do suggest for you, like in all the other car chats, is I do suggest that you guys go back and watch the other videos. That way everything makes sense, okay? So that you're not like trying to figure out what am I talking about. So go watch the other car chat starting from the bottom where how I overcame addiction and depression, and then watch the videos all the way up of the car chats all the way up until now. That way everything makes perfect sense to you. So now, after I had moved, I hate when I do these videos and people, we park the car a couple spaces away from other people, and then people still make it their business to park their car next to us. Like, it's so annoying. And even though we have tents, I feel like they can still see us because you can still see a silhouette through the car. But it's just so annoying because they like literally go out of their way to park next to me after I go out of my way to park away from other cars. Like, that's super annoying. But anyways, we're gonna get into the video. And it's like, hopefully they don't sit there and stare at me the whole time. So anyways, so after I moved in with the Christians, I stayed with them for about 3 months or something like that. I ended up getting a job and I ended up working at this cleaning place or whatever. Now I live with the girls. I lived downstairs at the time, and the girls downstairs that I lived with, first of all, let me just say the guys were really cool that I lived with, okay? The guys that were like next door, so there were 2 houses. There were a house on a corner and then there was a house like in the middle, like next to each other. And basically the church boy owned both of them. He owns both of them, and he was running like a, some people were calling it what you call it? I forgot what you call it. But he was running a disciple house or whatever. And I lived in the girls' houses right here, and then they lived over here. So the guys were really cool with me, okay? Anywhere I go, guys are always really cool with me. It's always the girls that for some reason, any girl that I ever go around, for some reason, they always have this weird animosity towards me. Like, they're always like a hater or something like that. Or like they always have weird feelings towards me. Maybe it's because of my personality. Maybe it's because I'm too ghetto. Maybe it's because I keep it real. Maybe because I'm not all pretty or whatever. Who knows? But all I know is the girls at first downstairs, they started out really cool. But first I did find out that some of the girls were against me moving in. And the church boy ended up telling me after I moved in, he was like, you know, I'm not even going to lie, but some of the girls didn't even want you to move in here. They didn't think it was a good idea, but I told them I didn't care. So I wanted you to move in here anyway. So I was like, okay, like, why don't you tell me that before? Like, that's mad weird. Like, but anyways, I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. I'm not here for them. I'm here for me because I need to get on my feet so I can get my kids back or whatever. And I didn't have my kids taken away either. So I let them go live with their dads so that I can get myself together. So just make sure you guys are aware of that when I say stuff like that. So I'm living downstairs with the girls or whatever. And the other girls, like, there's like 2 other girls, 3 other girls that lived there. They were always going to work and I was going to work. But the times that we were home together, and like, I guess the other girls were like really close to each other. So upstairs there was like 4 other girls, and then the 4 other girls that lived 3 other girls that lived downstairs, they were really close with each other. So they would all go upstairs and have like little fellowships or like little movie nights or little get-togethers or whatever the case may be. And I remember one time I tried to like I was coming home from work or something like that, and I was like waving the girls down like, hey, you guys, like, what's up? And I remember them all pushing each other in the door to hurry up and run inside to try to avoid me. They were all like, oh my gosh, she's coming, hurry up, hurry up. Moving each other in the door mad fast. Tell me that's not some funny shit. Like, so they're running inside the building or whatever, in the house, or locking the door. And then there was one girl that was taking her time. I guess she didn't make it in on time or whatever. And she's like, oh, hey, Salena. And I'm like, hey. And she's all, and I already seen it, but I still wanted to say hey just to like mess with them a little bit, because I already know you was trying to act funny. I already know you was running in the building acting weird with it. So now I'm gonna definitely sit here and talk to you just because I know you guys were acting mad weird. So I was like, hey. And they were like, she was like, what you up to? And I'm like, I just got out of work. And she's like, oh, that's good, working hard. I'm like, what you girls up to? And she's like, oh, nothing, we're about to go upstairs and have a movie night. I'm like, can I come up there? She's like, oh no, it's just the girls that are upstairs. Mind you, I already saw the girls downstairs go up there. So I'm like, okay, that's fine, no problem. I got plans anyways. I'm just gonna go downstairs and spend time with God. And she's like, yeah, you should do that. You should do that. That's all I remember her face. You should do that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. Anywho, so I went downstairs or whatever, and I'm like always by myself or whatever. If the church boy wasn't around, because when a church boy was around, I was with him all the time. So when he wasn't around, I would try to go hang out with the other guys, but the other guys were not like cutting it. There were some guys that always slept all day long because they had to go to work, and then the other guys, they had a girlfriend and they were trying to like spend time with their girlfriend. So it was like nobody was ever available besides the church boy. And when he wasn't available, it was just me and God. Okay. Now at the time, as a new Christian, new fellow Christian or whatever, that's a little difficult to deal with. Okay, I don't know about y'all, but for me, for somebody who's always used to being around people and always having to have people around me, especially not having any self-love or not knowing what it's like to be alone by myself or whatever, that was a little difficult for me. So it got to a point where I was like, okay, now I'm starting to get bored, and I done sat in this room all day every day talking to God, and I'm bored, so I need a boyfriend. So I ended up getting me a boyfriend. And he was going to the fellowships once in a while or whatever, but he started going more because me and him were like dating or whatever, like talking to each other. We're not going to talk about that because he doesn't deserve the time. So we ended up talking or whatever, and I started sneaking him in the girl's house. I was sneaking him in the girl's house, and I honestly didn't care because the girls had their boyfriends coming over, even though it was strictly no guys allowed, and it was only girls allowed and no boys allowed. But for some reason, the girls were bringing their little boyfriends in there anyways, and when they seen that I had somebody in there and I also had my baby father in there with me, they went and told the church boy that I was having boys in there. And it was just mad weird stuff going on. Like, I remember one time I left a couple of dishes in the sink or whatever the case may be, and the church boy gave me a TV to use in my room, and he said I can use the TV, and this girl gonna go out of her way that lived in the house, go out of her way and write me a freaking note that says, I don't know where you come from, I don't know what type of person you think you gonna be up in here, or something like that. Like this long ass note talking about you're not allowed to have TVs in here. TVs lead to TV is not from God. It can make you do other things that you're not supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be watching secular TV in here or listening to secular music, because I was listening to secular music on my phone. And secular music, I mean R&B, hip-hop music that I like. So I was listening to, but I was trying to keep it appropriate, you know, like R&B music. Like, it wasn't like no ass shaking or nothing music or nothing like that. So she was like, you're not allowed to listen to secular music, and if you do dishes, you need to clean it before we get roaches. Like roaches. That's how I know she was being funny, trying to call me ghetto, talking about roaches. I hope wherever you live, you got roaches, just because of that. And then she was like, you need to I don't know where you got the TV from, but you need to get rid of it. And then she's like, oh, and I found out that you had boys up in here. You don't need to be having no boys. If you want to have boys up in here, you can go somewhere else with that. Like, she lucky I didn't get ghetto. She lucky I didn't get ghetto, you guys. She is so lucky I didn't get ghetto and ratchet on her, because that shit had me tight. So I'm like, I took the note to the church boy, and I'm like, yo, can you believe what she just wrote to me? So I'm reading it to him. He's like, throw that in the garbage. Throw that in the garbage. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rip it up and make it visible on the garbage can so she can see that I ripped it up. Like, that's how much I feel about your stupid little note. Like, they had a problem ever since I moved in here to begin with. It's like they didn't want me to live in there, but the church boy made it to where the church boy, I don't know who that is anyway, so I don't care. I'm still going to say it. So the church boy made it to where he was like, oh, well, those girls are acting funny. Like, you don't need to be around them. Maybe they got religious spirits or something like that. They're making them like that. Who knows? Like, just don't pay them no mind. Ignore them or whatever. So I'm like, fine, I'm just going to ignore them. Like, I don't care. Like, it's not bothering me. It wasn't bothering me anyways. I already knew what kind of people they were just from the beginning, just from looking at them. You can tell what kind of people they are. You can tell what type of person somebody is just by looking at them. Like, oh, I could tell this person is like this, or I could tell. That's how I am. I don't know about y'all, but I could see straight through people and I could read people easily. Like, whatever. And it doesn't take a psychic to do that either. It just has to take somebody who's extremely focused and somebody who's been around people long enough to be like, all right, I know what you're about. And I know either if I want you around me or if I don't. And I didn't care if they were like that anyways, like I said, because I was trying to get myself together to get my kids back. So I ended up, like I said, I ended up having a boyfriend or whatever. And then I felt bad that I didn't want her to make him feel uncomfortable after she wrote that note. So I decided to start taking him to my sister's house, back to my sister's house in Yates Village, where I knew I shouldn't have been going, because that's where the drugs were. So I ended up going back to her house, and one thing led to another, and next thing you know, I relapsed. And I was back on drugs. And after a while, I started feeling bad, and number one, I started spending my rent money on the drugs, and I was starting to be short of money, and I was trying to, like, not tell the church boy what I was doing, but I was, like, lying to him. I'm like, oh, I didn't get enough hours this week, so I don't have enough money for the rent. I'm going to be a little bit behind. He's like, it's okay. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then he didn't know that I was taking the money that I was saving up for my rent to go use drugs. And honestly, I didn't feel like it was any of their business. Like, I could have told them easily so that they could pray for me, but I didn't feel like it was their business. That was my business. Like, that was something that I had to do it on my own. So, and it ended up feeling bad that I was doing that. Like, I felt bad that I was wasting their time, and I felt like, not the girl's time, definitely the church boy's time. I felt like I was wasting his time, and I felt like I was wasting a room. Like, let somebody that really wants this opportunity take this room. So I ended up telling him I was moving out, and I was moving back in with my mom. So I ended up having my brother come help me get my stuff out of that apartment, out of my room, and help me move it back into to my mom's house. My brother was like, are you sure you want to come back here? Are you sure you don't want to come stay with me and get yourself together? I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay here at my mom's. I'm not ready for that. When I'm ready to get myself together, I'll let you know. And he was like, he asked me, he was like, do you even want to get your kids back? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, but right now, like, I don't, that's not on my, like, I want my kids back right now, but obviously something's going on where it was so easy for me to go back to using drugs, and I'm going to figure this out before I go back and get my kids. And he didn't understand that. So I just moved back in with my mom, and then I relapsed. And when I relapsed harder than I did when I first started using drugs. Like, whoo, child, like, y'all don't even want to know. I don't even know if I want to tell that story next, but I think I'm gonna have to in order to, like, keep it real with y'all. So I was still working a little bit to support my drug habit, but then I ended up quitting that job. But I still needed money. I still needed money to support my drug habit, and let's just say I was doing things to get my money, and let's just say I was spending a lot of money on that stuff. But I did end up relapsing, and I ended up falling back down, and it was about another year or so before I ended up getting myself together and before I picked myself back up. But yeah, that's what happened. I ended up, like I said, I moved out of the Christian's house, and then I relapsed. Them girls were acting funny, y'all. Them girls was acting mad funny, but you know what? God bless them. They're forgiven. I'm not holding any grudges against them people. They didn't know any better. and stuff happens, you know, because if that didn't happen and they weren't acting like that, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I would like to say thank you to them as well, in the same sense. Like, I would like to say fuck you, and I also would like to say thank you in the same sentence, like literally fuck you and thank you. And yeah, that's the end of this video, you guys. Like, the happy ending will be coming soon. I don't want to make the videos too long, and plus I gotta go get Elila from school. But anyways, if you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you are new. Turn on your post notifications so you don't miss out on another video. Leave a comment down below, you guys, if you guys want to get a shout out in my next video. You guys, we are on the way to my first 1,000 subscribers, so make sure you guys do your girl a favor and hit that subscribe button, okay?